Before we get started, the two things you have to know are that there's no positional value factored into this. It's strictly the best players, and everybody had to play at least 500 snaps unless they were right on the cusp of 500, like 495, let's say. As for the top five for the Colts, though, we have Grover Stewart at number five. He was fifth in stops for defensive tackles. Stops are basically efficient tackles where, like, you might get a tackle for a loss or get a tackle on third down that prevents the other team from getting a first down, things of that nature. Stewart was also fourth in PFF run defense grade, which really kind of hammers home the type of player he is. He's not very much of a pass rusher. He can push the pocket a little bit and force the quarterback to not be able to step up, but he's not really going to make the other team pay for having him single teamed. He's just not, that type of player, but he is elite as a run defender. And for number four, we have Quentin Nelson, who was the third ranked interior offensive lineman in run block win rate, according to ESPN. So that includes centers, guards, you name it. I say you name it as if there's more than centers and guards. But Nelson, he really is good in the run game. And I like to see him play because he's back to form most of the way, I would say. I think it's been a couple years now where he's just been either hurt or, not up to what his standard was based on his early career. But this year he was really good again. As far as PFF's rankings of him go, he was fourth in pass blocking, fifth in run blocking, and fifth overall for guards, according to PFF. That shows that, like, he is more than just a mauler, because I think a lot of people just have the perception of him where he's, like pulling and knocking over a linebacker or a safety, whatever, and they think that's all he is. He definitely can do that, as evident by him being third in run block win rate, but he's also good in the pass protection game. So he's very valuable to the Colts. And somebody who is also very valuable is Bernard Ryen, who is 12th in pass blocking, 11th in run blocking, and 8th overall for offensive tackles. You might be confused because it seems like, he's worse across the board than Nelson. What is important to remember is, though there's no positional value, there's differences in talent distribution across positions. So being the fifth best guard is not necessarily better than being the eighth best offensive tackle. And Ryen is proof of that because he had an 85 PFF grade. Nelson had an 81. And again, Ryen was eighth for tackles. Nelson was fifth for guards. So I looked at their key stats and then, like, their percentiles for the positions. It's more than just, what immediately hits the eye. So number two is DeForest Buckner, who was 10th in stops for defensive tackles. And bear in mind, he missed 5 games, so he would have been, much higher, probably in the top 5, if he played the whole season. And that's not even, like, his whole thing is, being like a run defending, tackle for loss type of player. Like, he holds up well against double teams in the run game and as a pass rusher as well. He just doesn't get moved. He's huge. Like, I want to say he's like 6'7", and then like 300 pounds, I want to say. He's got the build of a defensive tackle for sure. And he would have been 19th in pressures if he kept his level of play for 17 games had he not been injured. So being, you know, top 5 in stops, let's say, and then 19th in pressures, that's really a great combination. And number 1, this is definitely going to be controversial for a lot of people, is Josh Downs. He is tied with Raymond for the best PFF grade on the team. So that's like one thing that's working in his favor. And another is that he was super efficient analytically, as he was 17th in yards per route run with quarterback play that was kind of all over the place. You know, either of the quarterbacks that got significant time with him were not always getting the ball to him in, stride or just at all, really. They weren't always hitting him. So the fact that he was still super efficient in his route run stat, that's a testament to just how good he is. And he definitely doesn't get recognized as this elite receiving option because he didn't put up the most gaudy conventional stats, but when you factor in, the quarterback play wasn't great and the team just wasn't necessarily like a pass first type of team anyways. I say necessarily, they definitely weren't a pass first team. It's, really impressive that he was as good as he was. So that's where I have the ranking of the top 5 Colts. Be sure to let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Also, be sure to like and subscribe for more football content.